Hello, I'm old Mr. Kent on my morning e-trike ride. It's, I think it's the 24th of February. I got such a bad memory. It's 2025, I know that much. And over the weekend, I got kind of bored. And so I decided, okay, I'll dig out my drone and charge up the batteries and fly it, which sounds easy, but I hadn't flown it for over a year. The last time I flew my drone that I can remember was a year ago Christmas, when I took it over to the park and flew it around while I played my piano music of Christmas carols. If you've been following my channel, you may remember that. But anyway, I was trying to combine riding the trike with flying the drone. Because all my videos, or most of my videos up to that point, for a couple of years, several years I guess you'd say, had been flying drones. And but I began to run out of material because it's all construction around here. And, you know, so I'd fly a drone and show where the construction was taking place. And then the next video I'd show where there's different construction. And after a while, you know, you get kind of tired of seeing construction, and that's all there was. And so it got kind of boring. Anyway, and then I had some close calls with my e-bike and got an e-trike, and I started putting up videos about well, I'd use my e-bike to go film with my drone, and so that, you know, brought the e-bike in, and then I got my e-trike, started making videos with the e-trike, and, you know, if you've been following my channel, you know that then I tried to combine the e-trike with the drone, and looks like I can get across here. And so that just didn't work out too well. So the last time that I can remember that I really combined the two and made a decent video was a year ago Christmas. So anyway, I was sitting around bored over the weekend, and I thought, well, I'm going to get my drone out. So I got my drone out, and the batteries hadn't been charged for a long time, and it took all day to charge to charge one battery to get all the way charged up. So anyway, so I took off and didn't really have anything to film, but as I was taking off, I was right next to my son's Greyhound bus that it's already been restored, but he's been updating the restoration. Because, as I said, it's set for, or as I have said in the past, it's set for 9 years and not done anything. And so, anyway, what he did is he put solar panels on the top, and the solar panels then go down and charge the batteries. Actually, it's got a 24-volt system, but most of the things inside, like for when you're camping, most of everything runs on 12 volts. So the solar panels charge the 12-volt system, and then the 12-volt system runs an inverter, a 12-volt inverter, which generates 120 volts. And then you have 120 volts to run things that you would have in the house, you know, all the household things. And then, so he's got a system where he can just camp out and have all the stuff you would normally have at home, and it's just like living at home while you're camping out. So there's a lot of traffic all of a sudden. So we'll say hi to these folks and get them on their way. So anyway, that's about all that I filmed. I just flew around, and it took me this old age is getting ridiculous. took me forever to remember how to do everything, but I did get a video made so you could see at least I got a video of the top of his Greyhound bus. All right, so as I said in my last video, or one of my last videos, I'm running out of stories, and I guess my last video I had to make one up. So I was thinking, I could make up stories like the day that the sun flickered and went out. Or maybe I should title it The Night the Sun Flickered and Went Out. So anyway, no, I'm not going to make up any more stories, I don't think. I can't think of anything that I would make up anyway. So I said in one of my previous videos, I'm going to start telling stories about the neighbors that I have had. Because there's some interesting stories that I can think of about the neighbors that I have had. And so that's what I'll start with this morning. Now, in a previous video, I told you about when I was just a very small child. My folks lived at a place in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was on 1946 Cheyenne Place, and I've got a picture of it from Google Earth. Of course, when I lived there, I can remember enough about it that it was all dirt outside, and then my folks had some pictures, but it was a new construction area, and so it was all dirt, and we had sidewalks and stuff. But we lived next to this family that had triplets. I don't know why my mom thought it was so cool. Maybe it's because when I was 3 and 4 years old, all I wanted to do was go play with those boys, And that's probably what it was, because all she could do as I was growing up was talk about how I loved to play with those triplets. And just was always, and I remember seeing pictures, little black and white photographs of the 4 of us playing together, or however, just, I don't remember much about the pictures. Got a corner to come to here. But anyway, so that was a big event for my mom, I guess, because I don't remember much about it. That I played with those boys, and we always had a lot of fun playing in the front yard, I guess. I don't remember where we played, really. So anyway, so then we're going to move forward to where I was in junior high school. When I was in junior high school, I think it was junior, I'm sure it was. I don't think it was grade school. I think it was junior high. We went to California to visit my Aunt Gertrude, okay? And she lived in a house, I think it was called Redwood City, as I remember, okay? And she lived in a nice house. It was fairly new, I think, and it was on a piece of property which had once been an apricot orchard. In fact, the way they did it back then, the way they do it now, because they had given her a large enough piece of property that she had like a half a dozen apricot trees on her property. And even when I graduated from high school and went down there to work with her son, getting ready to go to college, or however that went, I don't remember now. But anyway, I went down there to work. Well, I helped pick apricots off of those trees. But when I was in junior high, we went down there to visit, and I remember everybody saying what a nice house it was, and she had a bay window. And everybody thought that bay window was really super nice, and I guess it must have been something new or something, because everybody was talking about it and all that. Well, also, somewhere in the vicinity of where she lived, and I don't think it was very close, I think it was several miles away, this family that had the triplets, they lived down there. And so since my mom was real friendly with those people, well, they thought they would go spend some time with it one afternoon with those people. So we all piled in the car, and and we had a Nash Rambler by that, or not Rambler. It was a Metropolitan, I think is what it was. I got a picture of it, and I think I'll find it and put it on here so you can see what it was. Anyway, it was a great big, it would carry a lot of people. So anyway, that's what we went to California in. And so we all got in there and we went and visited these people that had the triplets. Now remember, I had never seen the triplets. I had no idea who they were, what they looked like, since I was 3 or 4 years old. And my mom, in her poor little mind, she thought I was just anxious to see my old friends. And I imagine she thought they were anxious to see their old friend. So we got there, and the parents, they all sat around and visited and visited and visited, and sent me off into the bedroom with the 3 triplets. And we all sat around and looked at each other like, this is really stupid. Because we didn't know each other. And my mom was always headstrong, like, you're going to go to college where I tell you to go to college. You remember that story if you've been following my channel. And so we sat in there and we just didn't have anything to talk about. Well, we did talk about a few things. I know it was more than that, but anyway, we just didn't have anything really to talk about. Finally, it came time to go home, and my mom said, why don't you just stay all night and stay all night with these guys, and you guys can have fun tomorrow. And kind of like forced the issue. And so we said, okay, you know. And then so my folks got in the car and drove away. And I have never been the kind of a kid that wanted to stay all night with anybody. I remember after my folks drove out from my cousin's house, who lived in the same area as I did, I decided I didn't want to stay, and I went down the front steps chasing the car. And finally, my cousin's parents called and said, come and get him, he's walking home, you know. So that's another story. But anyway, so after they had gone, we decided, no, I don't want to stay. And they decided, yeah, that's not to do. This was before cell phones, and nobody knew anybody's phone number. But they decided, yeah, if you don't want to stay, okay. And so, good morning. And so they decided they'd try to figure out how to get me back home. Well, they knew the street that she lived on from whatever information they had. And I knew that her house had a big bay window and that she had apricot trees in her yard. And so we got in the car and we went to that area, and we drove back and forth in the streets and back and forth and back and forth looking for a house with a bay window. And it was dark. It was nighttime. And finally it looked like, and there was that Nash ambassador sitting in front. I said, that's it right there. And so we stopped, and everybody got out and went up to the front door. And we told them, that I didn't want to stay, and they didn't care whether I stayed or not. I think my mom was probably pretty mad at me, which wasn't the only time. Anyway, so that was our neighbors from... That's the first story about our neighbors. And never saw the triplets again, and don't know what else to say about it, but that was our first neighbors. So anyway, that's the story of my neighbors, part 1. I want to thank you for watching my video, and God bless.